I'm going to play with something a little unconventional here. We'll see if it works. If it works, I'll post it. These are square drive. These screws are actually just leftovers from putting up some vinyl fencing. That's what they're from. So I'm not too critical. I don't want to crank them down too tight. This is only a pine 2x4, so it'll dimple it really bad. I just want to get it held fairly decent. 3's probably more than enough. Anyway, what I'm going to do, the reason I'm anchoring it to the 2x4 is because I need to cut that hole. And I already have the hole saw on the drill press, but it'll be a whole lot easier for me to touch down the hole saw and get it centered in here than to sit here and try to mark it and all that kind of stuff and drill the hole. Plus, too, with it being so flimsy, I don't want it to catch the sheet metal and rip it out of my hand and that kind of stuff and bend it up. So I'm hoping this will keep that from happening. Alright, I started off, and as soon as it touched down, boom, it jumped all over the place, and it dawned on me, duh, I've got it anchored to the 2x4. So let's clamp it into the 2x4 and see how close we can get it. Alright, it's fairly close that way. Let's see what happens. Oh, that looks fairly centered, actually. I love that sound. Little deburring, and I got what I needed, a hole in the middle. Almost put it together and started tack welding it, and then I realized, oh yeah, I better take my tracing for CAD. Okay, so these holes line up pretty good, and that's what I'm going to register it to. Center hole will be dictated by these holes, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to put some lines, circles here to remind myself that those holes have to get moved. Okay, so I got a bend there and a bend there. Got another one here, another one here, and we'll trace the outside there. Now we got to try to be pretty careful here and just roll that over. Oh. Okay. Now let's roll it back. If it's not right where I want it, let's readjust it slightly. And let's roll it over again. So this should give me a paper version if I need to cut another one, or that I can go up and draw on CAD. I think you can see where the differences are there for you know, from the original one I did. So I do definitely have some changes, but I can use, you know, like the holes and that stuff, I can just move these a little bit, and some of the basic shapes and stuff like that I can just tweak around a little bit and not have to completely start over again. So I think I'm going to tack weld this piece to the arm and check it on the jig on the frame, because I don't want to go through all the work on the CAD if there's something that needs to be changed on that first. So just eyeballing it here, I put a 3/8 inch piece of plate under here. It's got some dinglebergs and stuff like that under it, so it's actually a little thicker. Actually, I think I want to hold that up just a hair more. Oh yeah, like that. That looks like it's right in the middle. So now I need to make sure I hold this over here to keep that set right. But we ought to be pretty close. I turned down the welder from when I did these. I had that cranked up pretty good. But this is so thin, I don't want it to just blow it out. So hopefully it'll tack okay. Maybe. Oh. Well, I think I got one spot to connect there, but otherwise it did blow through pretty good. Alright, it's just thin ass sheet metal, but I think that'll hold. Okay, so let's see if we can get the other side up where I want it. Yeah, that's obviously too high. That's pretty darn close. What I'm trying to do there is shoot at the heavy metal and then kind of walk down and tap onto the light metal. All right, let's stick it on the frame jig and see how well it more or less stays together. I'm almost thinking I should put a bar across here, tack weld a bar on there to hold that, because otherwise all the twist and flex in here is all going to be on the sheet metal. So if you see that in the next video on the frame, I decided to do that. Well, got it on here. I've got 3/8 of an inch space back here. I got to go back and look at the previous pictures and videos and that stuff. I'm not sure I had that much space in there before. You know, I had that many washers on the bolt, but you know, I know I needed at least a couple in there for a couple of shims kind of thing, you know, to be able to move the camber. But so anyway, well, this is where it's mocked up and fit up now. I've got the shock mount disconnected because I don't think it's going to let it go all the way down to its the amount of travel that I want it to. So hopefully I can do this without bending the heck out of the sheet metal piece. But I have a tracing and I have the angles figured out, so yeah, and I don't have bolts in the back there, so okay, so the arm is stopping it there, and we're definitely within the range of motion of the ball joint. I'm clear on the shock here, you know, for where I plan on mounting that anyway, and actually that's pretty good because that my shock is pretty close to where I want it. I'm going to have a little bit of travel left there. I can always make that a little bit smaller and clearance that. So let's take it up. We're up against the bump stop, and I can see there's a little bit of flex there in the ball joint, so I'm not quite out of room there either. So I think that's pretty good. I just need to go back and double check the spacers back there. So let's put this, my arm's getting tired. Okay, once I've verified the spacing back here and that stuff, because it just seems like a little much, but that's not that bad. That gives plenty of room for adjustment. I think the next step would be to do a thicker plate at those angles and see exactly where it gets me. So as you can see, I'm on the other side of the frame here, okay? And I have the control arm mock-up upside down, okay? My particular project's only, I'm only interested in stock ride height, okay? But I figure there's at least a few people out there that'd probably be fairly interested in how low it'll go, okay? So as you can see here, the control arm gets really close, okay? You'd probably have to if I can get in that close, right in here, you'd probably have to notch the frame just a little bit. I don't know that I'd really want to modify the control arm a great deal. Looks like there's fairly good space there. The design on my arm right here needs a little trimming in order to so I'll probably have to run that up there further. And of course this could also get cut out too. That really wouldn't be too much of an issue. So let's finish the fly through here and see. Now there's how much bump stop I've got, which isn't much. It's not even touching the bump stop. That's 3/4 of an inch, because I think that bump stop is roughly 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch. As you can see, we're not touching there. You know, but any more squish on the bump stop, you definitely have to clearance some of that frame metal right there. The clearance here on the arm is because the idler's not bolted solidly into position. I don't think that's going to be an issue. Might have to trim the end of the bolt off there, maybe. Not too concerned about that at this point. So my next step here is to go ahead and trim the upper arm here so I can see whether or not I can get the arm in here, and then check some of the travel. Let's see if we can get in here and trim this without having to take it off. I'm grinding on the thing there. Alright, that should have got the burrs. Alright, right off the bat, one thing I'm not fond of is the fact that the ball joint is tilted over to the other side. Wow. Not sure if, you know, if the range of motion is there, I guess it's not much of an issue. I probably need to clearance that just a little bit better there. My I clearanced it and it's still pretty darn tight. So let's see. I'm all the way up, okay, against the shock. So that's as if the shock was bottomed out. I do have the travel set just a little bit inside of bottoming out. So that's about as low as it would go. Now keep in mind too that if you remember from the other side, this control arm is actually like a bit lower than the stock one. So it's on the same bump stop, it's as if it gives it a little bit of a drop. That was why I had to have the on the other side, since the control arm was lower in stock ride height, I was going to have to put like an inch and a half extension here on the shock mount, which I'm still going to have to do, which would not necessarily be needed on the on a lowered set, or a set that's going to be run really low. All right, so let's see here. That's all the way up. Let's see how the ball joint handles. Ooh, no, ball joint has run out of room, barely halfway down. Because I'm flexing the plate here. So yeah, it ran out of room right in here. So let me let's take that out. Okay, we're on the metal on the frame down there, I believe. Yep. Yeah, we're hitting down in here. If that was clearanced, it would go up a bit more. There's still plenty of room on the ball joint to go the other direction. So I'll play with that idea a little bit. Oh, let's put this back under here for now. Okay. That may be it for right now. I have to think about that one.